It's not. All right, now I can. Now. All right, now I'm getting part of that sound.
Is like you like one thing I've had before, and actually let me verify this real quick. Okay, and I don't care. I mean, admittedly, this game I'm kind of sad right now because I have actually been like playing it with sound on and stuff, so I'm not right now.
Hmm.
Because um of the very con like basically my options are I could have wonderful sound or I could talk to you. And admittedly, it's kind of a toss up,
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah, but you know. But yeah, this game has awesome sound and awesome music. And apparently, I'm gonna try something in a little bit here. So right now, I'm doing kind of two funny things, and this is kind of a boring one, which is a nice chat driven thing. I'm leveling up, and this is just good advice for the listeners. This is the one piece of useful advice. Actually, I don't know. Are you streaming? Are you going? I don't know.
We.
I just
I think I'm going. Maybe I
all
should
right.
check.
Let me just do a let me do a check. I'm gonna check yours, then I'll check mine, and then we can go and we can talk.
Sounds good. Oh yeah,
Mitty
that
says we're
was.
live. Hey Mitty, it's been forever.
All right, MIDI.
Okay. Now,
Oh wow,
so mine on
someone nudged me on Blue Sky.
on Rixter GT, I see an awesome nerd numbers with one of the greatest games ever underneath it. And then I see Rixter GT with just black, like your soul.
Yeah, I'm working on that now.
Okay, 21, 22, 23. Okay. So I'm playing Super Mario RPG. I'm not starting from the beginning. I mean, I could. It's a fun game, but right now I'm just trying to get through the game. Like I've beaten it once, and then I kind of want to beat it with all the hidden chests. And what I'm actually doing right now, 18, 19, is one of the more just like this is a really useful. Okay, that was my wife. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this part of the game is when my wife shows up, and then that's like weird. You're like, wow, why is Dre's wife in the game? Um, this is just one of the best places to grind in the game. This is on the sunken treasure ship. Okay.
Okay, I remember this.
And what I'm also trying to do for fun, I don't actually think it matters, and we can talk some stuff here.
Hmm.
Is I am trying to just get 100 on this gauge thing, which is all new, and we can decide how much we can discuss Super Mario RPG and all that. Any other intros? It's been a while. Yeah, I had some life events, and then we had holidays. So this is two TV gaming. I'm Dre Alvarez. You are.
I am Landon Rixter GT Rixter slash. I don't remember how to do this. But that all sounded right. That sounded good.
Is it forward slash or
That
backslash?
sounded. It's forward slash. That all sounded perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just started up OBS like 3 minutes ago for the first time since last time we streamed, and
Which was like 20 years ago.
it's been a while. Yeah. So I'm excited that we're back in business. We're live
Yep.
again, at least for now.
And I mean, and I think of course holidays will do the same thing they already did once,
Sure.
which is yeah, like Christmas. Oh, come on, how am I so bad at this? So yeah, so basically, yeah. So and yeah, have you decided what you're going to put on your stream? You should put
Um.
on Xenogears. We should just get that going since we've established it's going to take 3 billion years to
Yeah,
finish.
it's gonna take 3 billion years.
It's a
No,
long game.
I might give a short update on what I've been doing with Radical Racers. I haven't done that much, but I did finish the tools, the Radical Toolbox, so I can make new cars again, and I can make tracks, and I can make a new career, which I would like to do, and then just kind of like wrap all that up and move on to whatever it is I move on to.
Okay, I'm gonna reset myself one more time, but then I'm gonna keep going. Well, yeah. So what? So obviously, Radical Racers won, which I mean, you put a lot of work into it. So I'll say this: I thought was a very balanced, pretty cool game. That I'm probably one of the only people in the world that's completed it 100%. Meaning like gotten all the money that you can get, which is actually a little harder than you would think because you have to like
Yeah.
make decisions around upgrading and stuff, and then you're a very cruel game designer.
Yeah, it was more difficult than it needed to be. And so I'm surprised you think it's balanced because there is like that issue around like the A class cars where things get pretty
There's one
tricky.
part of the game that's a little rough, and because of the way you designed it, where you're kind of unforgiving. So for those that don't know, Radical Race is a racing game that Landon made. You can play it. I'm curious, do you have any analytics on your site?
I
Uh,
do not. I,
So Space Debrix, Debrix.com. You can play it. It's out there. And the reason I was asking analytics is I did throw that out on the nerd show. So I was curious if you got anybody playing.
I will have to look. I'm not sure. There's probably something, um, but I'm not sure. I'll take a look though. That would be
But yeah, the
really
game,
cool if like anybody happened to show
yeah.
up and like give it a try.
But so you've got that game out there, and it's fun. And the only thing that you kind of have, in my opinion, that's kind of rough is that you take away upgrades if you spend too much time racing, and you have a
Hmm.
weird exponential system. So each race you can make an amount of money, and you make all the available money if you get first, half of the available money if you get second, and what is it, a third of the available money if you get third, half, a fourth, I forget.
It's yeah. You get all of it, half, and then a third, and then that's it. Then you don't get anything
Okay.
after that.
But and then also what's in, it's kind of fun. You can't farm a race forever and ever. What happens is the money goes down. So if there was $100 you could win in a race, if you got second, there's now $50. If you run the race again, you need to get first to get that 50. Then we can get into this fun thing where you could just keep getting second over and over or third over and over if you wanted to and get really, really close to getting all the money.
Hmm.
But what you do is basically you get money from winning races. You use that money to upgrade your cars or buy new cars. And one thing you do though is you basically say as soon as a new car or item becomes available in the shop, if you don't buy it within a certain amount of time, it goes away. Um, and what makes that hard is then if you keep getting like third in a race, you don't make enough money to buy it, and then it disappears, and then basically you can make the money, and then you just don't have enough time. So, by the way, the trick on this, for what it's worth, I'm getting a level up. You can only go to level 30. If it's divisible by three, you go physical. If it's after physical, you'll go HP. After HP, you'll go magic, and you'll just loop. So I'm at level 23 with what is this guy called, Gino or something? And so that means I'm going to upgrade the
Yeah,
magic,
something like
and
that.
that's how you'll maximize it. So Bowser is level 19. 18 would be physical, so now I'm going to go HP. And it is Gino, right? Yeah, Gino. Gino is a doll in this game, and actually, like the graphics on this upgrade are just really like this is such a slick game. I'm really impressed with it. I mean, it is funny and annoying where um really, and I was talking instead of paying attention, and I
Hmm.
lost my streak. So I'm going to restart one more time.
As we do.
Um, Yeah, which means you're going to see that level up again. But yeah, just taking a great Super Nintendo game
Hmm.
and then just upgrading the graphics and adding a couple extra dynamics works really well for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was curious how you liked it, because I I think we talked one other time. I've played Super Mario RPG on the mini Super Nintendo. It was on that, and so I played it like 2 or 3 years ago, like recently. Like so I never played it back in the day, so there wasn't like a lot of nostalgia for me. and I still felt like the game held up really well. Like I enjoyed it all the way through. Um, so I was kind of curious, like what this remake is. Like it sounds like they
Yeah, I
did
mean,
a nice job of like keeping that original game, but just making it look nicer, like play better, I guess maybe.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it
I mean,
played pretty
just look,
well,
look,
but
look at these graphics. Just look at them.
I
Just
mean,
look
no,
at the
this
graphics.
looks great. Yeah.
Colors, Duke. The colors. But yeah, I mean, and then the only kind of other interesting thing is they added this gauge at the bottom.
Hmm.
And okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this tonight, so that's fine. I'll play normal. I was gonna try and get 99 on the gauge at the bottom for fun. But this is just a fun spot to farm, which is all I'm doing right now. And we already saw this. Gino is level 23. Basically, it's kind of interesting. It's a very simple dynamic. It's not as complicated as, say, the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X. Basically, every time you level up, you get to level up one of three things: your attack, your health, or your magic. And one of them will get leveled up faster than the others based on what level, basically just based on a mod 3 system.
Hmm.
And then what I'm doing right now is I'm just grinding, which I'm curious for like RPGs. How does that sit with you, like grinding stuff?
Um, that's a really good question because in most RPGs I've played, I end up doing a lot of grinding, probably because I'm just not very good or whatever. And I don't remember it bothering me so much, but I'm not sure I would like that so much now.
Hmm.
Like I
I mean, it
remember
sounds like
there was like Final Fantasy 3, 6, 3 as it was here in the U.S.
wait, what? You're just making up numbers
I'm
here.
making up numbers. Yeah, Final Fantasy 6 in Japan was Final Fantasy 3 here, which
I think it was 6-3, which is when you like got the dressmaking and stuff.
the dressmaking.
I'm making a joke about X2, and I'm not making up the fact that there was dressmaking in that game.
Oh.
Like you like changed outfits and stuff.
I haven't
It's pretty
played
cool.
those. I've started Final Fantasy 10, but I've only played like an hour.
Wait, you've never played Final Fantasy X all the way through? We got to
I
do that at some point.
I know, right? Like I own a copy of it. Like I've got it and
Do you have the ability to stream it? Because if you do, you should put that on at some point.
I, I, I can do that. Yeah, actually.
Okay, so
I
why don't I actually think that'd be fun because that is I mean that game can go forever if you do like the mini games and stuff.
Mhm.
But I think the straight storyline is like 10, 20 hours, and it's
Oh,
one of
really?
those games where like I mean what's fascinating about a lot of RPGs if you're smart about it is you can really be clever through the game. Like this game, unlike and I this should show you how important it is. This game has a elemental dynamic like most do, like the Pokemon system, like water is weak against blah and blah is weak against blah.
Mhm.
This game's got four. It's fire, earth, jump, ice, I think, and they're weak against each other. And I don't even have that memorized. Let's see, 21, 22. Um, so, but like you can take advantage of that. Like even right here, that's the reason this place is such a good grinding spot is because of exactly that. Is because all of these ghosts are weak against electricity. This is Malo's weakest attack, weakest magical attack.
Mhm.
But you can see it can knock out five enemies. And here's a fun bit of news. I don't remember if this was in the original game, but these enemies here, he's got a frog coin. And so some of the enemies are super powered, and if they're super powered, they drop a frog coin and give you a little more experience. So that's actually a tell, and I'm actually happy when that happens because if I go up against a guy and yeah, like this is and that's actually a tell here. That Greeper that just attacked me,
Mhm.
he's going to survive this attack, and that's because he's got a frog coin. So it's actually like good news for me. And he also attacked me first because this gets into more RPG fun stuff. Again, this is like strategery that you would use in an RPG. if you look at my characters, they all have basic stats, right? Attack, defense, speed, magic attack, magic defense.
Hmm.
Mallow and Bowser are both slow because they're tanks respect in like a weird way. Mallow is a mage, like this should be very D&D like,
Hmm.
but he's like a tank mage because he's got the most powerful magic, so he's slow and so is Bowser. But I have equipped work pants and zoom shoes on Mallow so he's fast. So, but if somebody gets to the attack faster than Mallow, it actually tells me that they're souped up because Mallow's speed with his stuff that is equipped right now
Hmm.
is faster than any of the enemies normally are in this area.
Okay.
There's one other reason this area is the best to grind. Do you want to take a guess at it, or should I tell you?
You should tell
Boo. Okay,
me.
so these are ghost um, things that I can just take off Malo, obviously. One of the items they drop is a useful in-item game, which is called the Pure Water. And Pure Water is a lot like an X potion or a Phoenix Down in Final Fantasy, most of them.
Hmm.
Because if you remember, in a lot of the Final Fantasy games, they have undead animals. Yes, I meant to just say undead things, but sure, animals too. Actually, that is a huge thing, right? Like the Final Fantasy VII, there's like the Red's grandpa is just like has like a zombie animal fortress locked behind a door in his house. I'm not making that up. That is true.
Huh.
Do you remember that?
Say,
Seven?
wait.
Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VII?
I'm trying to remember. Like, what was this? There's.
Because like they like Cosmo Canyon, you go there and he's like, "Oh, my dad was so weak." And then he's like, "Your dad died saving us all." He's like, "You know that closet you're not supposed to open? Open it." And you open the closet, and he's like, "Yeah, there was a big group of like undead animals that were attacking us, and your dad held them off, and then we locked the door." There's like one of the characters lives in a house with and then at some point he's like, "Hey, all of you just go out there and fight the zombies so I can prove it." It's like I feel like he could have just told me, but thanks.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It's been a really long time since I played that game.
Final Fantasy VII is a really wild game, just kind of out of the box with like all of its stuff, and then
Yeah, it
when you
really
look at all
is.
the added canon and whatever.
Yeah, it's one of the craziest stories like I've seen in a game. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, Final Fantasy X, I would argue, is a little crazier. Have you managed to knock it? I mean, it's been out forever, so if all the cool stuff is spoiled, I wouldn't be shocked. But
Some of it's been spoiled, yeah, which is kind of disappointing because I was super excited about that game, but I didn't have a PS2 when it came out, and then I was just like in college and just not in like the RPG mode at the time, so just what just I just missed it, which is pretty disappointing to me. Very disappointed in myself.
so let's do a fun quiz. What all do you know about Final Fantasy VII? I'll tell you how accurate, etc. stuff is. Or
Seven or
Final
10?
Fantasy X. So let's go with 10. We can do 7
Um,
next.
do I want to risk more spoilers for myself?
I
Um,
will not say anything beyond like, and in fact, I won't even confirm or deny. I'll just say, interesting.
all right, for anyone listening, here's this is spoiler alert. All right, spoiler alert for Final Fantasy X coming up. You can turn off the sound for the next 60 seconds, 2 minutes, and then we won't give more spoilers. Um, all right, that's the warning. That's the spoiler warning. Spoilers
Okay.
coming up. That makes it okay. All right, so my understanding is, where did I even hear this? Like, so like the main character, whatever his name is,
Titus,
what is it?
Titus or Titus. That's also a point of
Titus.
contention
That's right.
where people are like, how do you say it?
Um,
Yeah.
like he's in this city, but like the city's like not in real time or like existing or something like that, right? Like there's this entity that's like keeping it alive somehow, and then he gets
Yeah,
like
that's pretty.
tossed out in like this big storm, and he's like, "Hey, I'm from the city," and everyone's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. That's not possible." And that's kind of as far as I got. But
That's pretty interesting. Like that you got it right because what it does throw you, and this isn't really spoiler. Like this is intro, so I want
mhm,
to throw out. This is like start of the game. So start of the game is your character is Titus, who is a blitzball player,
mhm,
and blitzball is like an underwater water polo game where you're also allowed to use magic because as you do.
mhm.
And in this game, like, and we kind of learn as he's running to the game, like he's running to the game. Did you see what level I was? Well, I can go back in time. That's kind of useful. I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy yapping.
I am watching what you're
Oh,
doing, but I wasn't paying that much attention.
okay. I don't know. Whatever. I think he was 23. I'm gonna guess he's 24. Sure, why not? Yeah, whatever. I got it wrong. That's fine. Um, and I missed that yours is that you've got live on yours. That's cool. But yeah, so basically, game starts out. You're basically a champion water polo player,
Right.
and as he's running, we're discovering that his dad was like the greatest water polo player. It's called blitzball, but yeah, it's basically water polo. And that he like went missing 10 years ago. And like this is your first pro game, like to stand in your dad's shoes. Like, is he gonna do good?
Mhm.
And it's got one of like the coolest opening cinematics ever. We're talking Final Fantasy X for anybody who's joining us, not Super Mario RPG, although they are both Square games
It's true.
and a lot of similarities in that, well, kind of actually. But I'll try and avoid spoilers to your point. But yeah, so basically he's in this big city, he's playing it, and then this giant monster, almost like a Godzilla monster, attacks the city while he's playing the game. And then kind of like a mentor of his named Orin shows up and is like, here's a sword. Your
Mhm.
dad wanted you to have it. Come with me. And then they like jump into the monster at the end, and then he winds up like in a very like fantasy area where to them where he keeps saying he's from Xanarkand, which is the big city you're talking about,
Mhm.
and they're like, what are you talking about? Xanarkand was destroyed 1,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
And so a big thing that is posited in the game and many people are confused about, which you got correct, and I'm not even going to repeat it, so go back in time if you want to hear the spoiler, because you got it right. It's actually, that's one of the most important things that people miss. The game does a nice like fooled you, right? Because
Mhm.
it basically is like, oh, is this time travel? Are you a time traveler?
Right.
And then like, are you going to be able to get home? And it's not. It's something else different, which is cool.
Yeah, it's something really unique, and that's why I am like upset that it was spoiled for me because seems like such a cool story, and it seems like something that when you get invested in these RPGs, you spend a lot of time with them. You spend a lot of time with the characters, the world, and the story, and so you get invested in it, right? And that would have been just a really cool experience, I think, and so I am kind of bummed I didn't play it back in the day, but it is what it is. Like it's probably still worth going through.
No, I mean, I'm gonna throw out to you that I think that would be great on stream, and then I can just do whatever in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fascist Taunt 6 is sorry to be bothering us, but wants to know that we can buy stuff from. So that's useful. Thanks.
Oh, cool.
Thanks for the sub. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this game didn't add a bunch. It's new graphics. I think they have one treasure chest hidden in a different spot. The game itself, I would say, what kind of makes it cool is I think it is a fairly cool RPG, but it's just not. It's not super long. Your max level is level 30, so you can see with my grinding in this area here, I've got my all of my characters above 20. one thing I got going for me is I got a really nice item, which is or a really nice accessory, which is the X booster. X is short for experience. And so I can just move this between people. And in fact, I'm going to do that really quick. You're only able to get one, so that's cool. Like that is a cool
Hmm.
dynamic of the game, is that there are certain items that you can only get one of. Um, the X booster, and then there's one that also reduces the flower cost. Like other RPGs, it has magic, but what's interesting is you just have a shared magic pot. So I have, if you look at the bottom, there's this little flower there, and I have 54 flower points that I can just share among the team.
Okay.
And that's what makes Malo so powerful right now is he has a spell that costs two that can net me like somewhere between 30 and 60 experience points. And then actually I don't remember. I'm curious what the ratio is. I'm going to take a look at what experience booster does. So 21 and 21. Okay. So if I look, Peach is has 4,469 experience. And Malo, he had the experience booster on the longest, so he's at 7,000. Wow. Peach is at 4,469. Let's see how much I get. So this should give me 27 if one of them isn't super powered. All
Okay.
right. So these, what, five guys are going to give me 27. And Peach was, let's see, what did I say? Was it 4,469? 4,469. So 3154. Wow, so it's that's a straight double. That's a ridiculous. And maybe the weapon tells me
The experience booster doubles your XP again?
doubles. Oh man, that is a cheat code. And also something fun that stuck around from the original Super Mario RPG that is in this one as well. And let's call it. Come on, Yoshi, show up. Yoshi, show up. Now you
What?
suck, Yoshi. Yoshi appear. You basically get a like three card Monty game that shows up randomly that will offer to double your experience or your coins won from a battle.
Oh,
So
okay.
like in theory, Peach could get like up to 100 from this
From one battle.
from one battle, and it's only 9,999 is like the max experience, so you can actually see that that's yeah, I've almost got Gino all the way leveled up and stuff, so this is it's pretty good.
Nice.
And another part of this battle, yeah, is that pure water I was kind of bringing up. I went on that super long diatribe about red in Final Fantasy VII,
Hmm.
but pure water sells for 75, which is a lot. So basically, this is not only is this the best place to farm experience, I'm making 30 coins a battle, and then also getting, well, 18 coins a battle. I'm sorry, I lied to you. I lied to you just there. I'm making 18 coins a battle, and then also making seven. So I'm making like 100 coins a battle and like 30 to you know
Okay.
50
Get get
50
get
plus. Yes.
getting the money and the experience.
Well, and also this is one of those. I think a lot of RPGs do it. I think Final Fantasy X. I forget. I forget if you have to put the person in the battle to have it, but like every person who does one action in the battle gets part of the final experience from the battle. But Super Mario RPG, you have up to five characters, so my party is complete. Only three can go at a time, but all of them get experience from the battle. So in fact, like yeah, I've got Peach on the bench gaining 50 experience points a battle here. She's not even doing nothing.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool feature of this game, right? Because there are so we're talking about grinding in RPGs, and a famous example of that is in Final Fantasy 3, where there's this part pretty close to the beginning of the game where you're on a raft and it just kind of goes around the river, this river system, and then there's a couple of like intersections or what do you call that? Forks in the river, I guess. Anyway, and you get to choose like go up or left or whatever. Anyway, um you can make a selection that you'll just keep be going in a circle, and you have random encounters, so you'll fight. And in that part of the game, you have this kind of one-off character, this character that's with you only for this part, this short section of the game, who has this, what was his name, Bannon or something, who has this magic that can heal everyone in the party. Because it's not supposed to be like a difficult part of the game. You're just kind of like getting through it, and you've got this character that can kind of keep everybody alive. And so you can set it up in the menus, like just remember your suggestions or whatever. So if you have like a turbo controller or some other way to like push the button, you can, and this is what I did back in the day, you can just leave your Super Nintendo on going in this loop all day, all weekend, like for as long as you want, and your characters will just sit there battling and healing indefinitely. And so you can like really just power level that way. And so then when you come back, you've got these like ultra leveled, very rich characters, but only the characters that were on the raft, which are three. You can only have a party of four, so it's like one of them is that one-off character, and then like whatever other three you have, and the other characters are just kind of like different places like in the story, so they're just already off doing their own thing, and so you have like this super imbalanced party from then on out. Like you have these really strong characters, and then like your beginning of the game level characters.
Well, so funny and actually, I'm thinking of something I might be able to do while you're playing Final Fantasy X for real. Is in Final Fantasy X, there are two things that do that. There's one, and I don't know if it's a direct homage, like it was intentional. It seems like it was, but Final Fantasy X has something similar where there is a point where you are on a boat where you have to fight this enemy that just keeps spawning sub enemies, and the sub enemies are worth experience. So, and that's always an interesting aspect of RPGs is, you know, there are some bosses in this battle, in not this battle, in this game, for instance, that, you know, bring underlings to the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like they summon, sidekicks. And the
Right.
question is, does the sidekick give you experience or not? And for Super Mario RPG, most of the time, it is a no. So there's like one person that like attracts bombs to the battle, and they do not like it doesn't do anything. Like the extra bombs, you can kill them indefinitely, but you get the same level of experience. But in this one battle in Final Fantasy X, you get like 3 experience points per each one that shows up, and you can now what's frustrating is you can do what you were saying in a turbo controller, but like this is we're bringing this segment back, the idea of like a glitch, or like, is this something legit? So
Mm.
example, in the game I'm on now, I was gonna do it, but it's just not fun. I was gonna try and get my little gauge on the bottom to get up to 100, and it's already at 100. By 100, what I mean is every time you successfully make a timed attack in this game,
Mm-hmm.
you get a counter that goes up by 1 on the bottom, and then when you miss a timed attack, it goes down to 0 again. So if you see I just dodged successfully, that was a timed attack, and I'm about to lightning successfully, which is another timed attack. So now I've got a chain of 2 going, and I want to get a chain of 99.
What? I'm not. I don't think I even see what you're talking about.
Okay, so if you look at my screen,
Yeah.
look at the bottom left corner, you're going to see that flashing 100%.
Yeah.
What that lets me do is that when I get that all the way leveled, and I'm going to show you, this is awesome. This is a new addition to this game that wasn't in the original. So I'm using a triple team attack, which is a team attack. And so they all join. If you get that gauge up to 100, you can do like an ultra powerful attack, and you see all three of my characters jump together in a
Mm-hmm.
in Bowser's thing. And it's also really cool in that varies based on who's in your party.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
really cool.
changes if I have Gino, and actually I haven't seen them all, so I'm gonna have to do that for fun, and maybe I'll do that while I'm doing that here. Um, so, but with that, so there's two parts of that. So you can see my gauge now is at zero. I'm in the future a little bit from you, but my gauge is at zero.
Hmm.
But if I successfully do a timed attack, and of course, saying that means I failed, but
Of
if I
course.
successfully do a timed attack, that number goes up, one, two, three, four, five, which tells me the number of timed attacks in a row I've successfully done. And when I do that, the little gauge goes up a little. So it goes up like three, and then I can get up to 100. And so not only having the gauge up apparently, because it says this, like apparently makes me slightly better at attacking. Let's see what it says when I. So it says action gauge. Yeah, like I get a small boost from that, from having successfully done multiple timed attacks in a row. And then more importantly, I level up this like little thing that lets, and this is something that's shown up in a lot of RPGs, like the limit break kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
Which this is new. This was not in the original Super Mario RPG, if I recall.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
And that was really cool. So like Final Fantasy VII, you had a limit break, and that was
Hmm.
based on it varied actually. You were allowed to choose. So you could say, "Hey, I want my limit rate to go up based on if I kill people, or I want my limit break to go up based on if I attack or defend."
You could
Final
pick
Fantasy, I believe so. Or is
in
Final
seven.
Fantasy VII just? It might be the case that seven is just attack. I could be wrong.
I think it's just attack or like how much damage you take. I don't remember being able to choose.
Or was it like a combination of them? Like just, I don't
Possibly.
know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Final Fantasy X for sure you're allowed to choose, and
Okay.
that gets important because like you can get your limit break super high early because you can like that boat trick we were just talking about, you could literally set certain people's limit breaks to say every time I kill someone my limit break goes up and they just get better and better and better, which
Hmm.
is cool.
Yeah, and these multi-person attacks, that's something SquareSoft also did in Chrono Trigger, which was one of the coolest aspects of that game because you had your three-character party, and they could each do their own attacks. They each had their own like special moves, and then they could have their combinations where like two of them could do an attack together, and like every two character combination like could do something. And then they also had the triple attack, so like all three of them like got in there and did like one massive attack, and it was they were so cool. It was just really awesome.
Yeah,
It's
but I'm actually
worth
going
playing
to
that game
do
again just to see those.
okay. And so another interest, so let's do some computer science math. Let's see how good we are at this.
Okay.
So here's the rule. You are not allowed to remove Mario from your party. So there are four characters. How many different attacks are there based on that? So there's, let's see, four times three. Is it just 12? Three.
So wait, there's four. So sorry, how big is the party? Three?
Yeah, but you're only allowed to pick the remaining two slots from those four. Or is it six? It's 12 or six. So I've got
Um,
one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two.
I think it is
Am I
12.
getting that right? One, two, one. So I can do Mallow, Bowser, Geno, Bowser, Bowser. I can do Mario, Mallow, Bowser, Mario, Mallow, Geno. Yeah, I think it's six. So because it's Mallow, that's three with Mallow. Then I put Bowser in the second spot. I've already done Bowser's. That's two. And then I can put Geno in the second spot, Peach. So they're only six total. That's cool. And I'm
Is
just
that
saying that.
true?
Yeah, like in
Cause cause like if you do combinations, right? Like if you all right, so you have Mario. Are you
yep.
filling the second slot? You have
Mario's
four different
Mario's
characters.
four.
So you
Yep.
have so you're filling two slots, right?
So I think it's four times three divided by two, and that's like a factorial trick, if I recall. Like you can probably look up some formula online that we probably learned in CS 200 or 300
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I
And I always
forgot.
forget it. Like I always like relearn this every time because it is like It's
Combination
like
versus
it's
permutation.
it's like n times n minus one over two or something. I don't know. And some of that funness goes into cancellation because you'll do like a factorial, which is, like 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4.
Right.
And then the bottom can be like 5 times 4 times 3. And so those cancel out. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. No.
But I'm pretty sure all the combinations of 4 is it's either 3 times 2 or 4 times 3 divided by 2.
I think it's 4 times 3 divided by 2. I think you're right, but you are nerd numbers, so I will defer to your expertise here.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
Richter
Chat G.
GT, whatever that means.
Gran Turismo. Have you seen that movie yet?
I have not. That is what it
So
means,
here's an
so.
here's it. Okay, so here's one of the cool. It's sad but cool at the same time. So son just turned 7, and his birthday fell on a Sunday this week.
Nice.
This week and this year. So we took him to see a movie. We took him to see, and there were like 3 kids movies he could have seen. He could have seen Trolls, but he'd already seen it. He could have seen The Grinch, or he could have seen Wish. And Wish is a new Disney movie that's out.
Okay.
We took him to see Wish. Now, here's some bad news. That movie, guess how much it cost to make?
$100 million?
Double that.
200 million?
Wow, spot on.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a nerd numbers myself.
Anyway, so it's a $200 million movie. It's not doing so great. That includes international. So we took him to see like a Sunday showing at 6, which, for a kids movie is already not a great showtime. I'm surprised more weren't there because out here, Monday today was a school planning day, so the day was off. They like expanded Thanksgiving break. But anyway, so that happened. No one else was in the theater, so we were like, we're allowed to lie and say like, yeah, we got you the entire theater for yourself for your birthday. Um,
you just you just lie to him, huh? Just
well, we haven't lied, but I'm saying we can. It's
oh,
on the
I
table.
see. Okay.
But I mean, technically, it is not untrue. We did get every seat. We did get every seat in the house for the movie. Um, so we did that. And so the premise of that movie, it's really convoluted, is Chris Pine is a sorcerer
Okay.
who runs this kingdom, and he can grant wishes, but it's a weird system where you tell him your wish, and then he makes you forget it, and then he has your wish, and he can make it come true, but then he can also just keep it forever himself.
Hmm.
And our hero is like, yo, that's not cool that you just like steal everybody's wishes. He's like, what if you didn't do that? And he's like, no. And she gets upset. That happens. That's pretty much the scene.
Okay.
Chris Pine is like, I have their wishes, and then other person's like, what if you didn't have their wishes? And Chris Pine's like, go away.
So he always
So
just like keeps them for himself. Like that's
that it's a thing. I'll see if I can. It's not a good movie, unfortunately. But the reason it relates is because it's so similar to Super Mario RPG. And we can hop into there and talk a little here. Is so the premise of that movie is the sorcerer has everybody's wishes,
hmm
and our hero wishes upon a star, and a magic star shows up and is like, "Let's free the wishes." Um, which there was potential in there.
yeah.
It's unused potential, but it was there. Um, but Super Mario RPG, the premise of this is, and this relates a lot, is that in Super Mario Land, stars are magical and have power, and in Super Mario RPG Land, they do grant wishes, and a villain has disrupted the Star Road, which is a common theme that does show up in Super Mario RPG. And I'll show you right now. Pure water makes a bone go poof. Yeah, so in Super Mario RPG, an evil villain has shattered the Star Road, which is where all the stars are, and stars grant wishes. And if the Star Road isn't there, then people can't get their wishes granted, and it's sad. And
Very
so it's
sad.
kind of funny because I went and saw Wish, was like, this is terrible, and I'm like, why didn't you just do Super Mario RPG? But they didn't.
Maybe that'll be the next Mario movie. Maybe they'll do the
They
RPG
should.
story.
Did you see the Super Mario? I think you did, right? You went and
I
saw it.
saw that. I saw it, yeah.
What do you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a fun movie.
Good.
What do you
Good
think?
to hear. I too liked it.
Good. I'm glad.
Light everything on fire. Except the one thing I wanted to light on fire. That's a bummer.
Typical. Typical fire.
Yep. All right, so let's hear some Radical Racers stuff. You can make the tracks. So
Make the
actually, can
tracks.
anybody make a track or just you?
So, kinda just me. Like, it is available in the. So
You're just like the evil sorcerer and wish.
let,
Anyway,
let's let,
continue.
let let's talk some. Let's talk some computer stuff here for a minute because this is actually kind of interesting. So there are a couple of issues I'm running into with Radical Racers. Um, One is I made the game. It was always a Windows game, right? Like I made it back in the day on Windows, and I recreated it in Windows using Godot and my original data files. The issue there is Windows is the file system is not case sensitive, where like everything else in the world is. And so I ran into issues, and
Wait,
this was
wait.
a
Excuse me. And I'm not even being sarcastic. You're gonna have to explain. So in Windows, you're telling me like well, actually, I don't know. Case sensitive is an interesting point. So if I did like land in this directory, you're telling me I can like uppercase LANDON is different than lowercase LANDON.
on Windows they're the same.
Okay.
On Linux, Unix
That
they're
actually
different.
makes sense ish to me as like a safety thing, but I can see both ways because they are different characters.
They're different characters, and so that's kind of unique to Windows, where and so
So
part
you're taking Linux's side here.
I kind of am, yeah.
Typical. All right.
So because of that, I have all these files that are like a car is called like Vertex 2, right, with a capital V, then the rest is lowercase. Like you might write it out. In the game files, like the career file or car data, things like that, it's like all caps, which on Windows is totally fine because it's like, oh, all caps. I'll just look for open all caps vertex2.png and it finds it. On Linux, that will not work. And also on HTML5 or whatever, yeah, HTML5 I think is compiled for, like that won't work because that's also case sensitive. So like the version I have up on Space to Bricks, I had to fix all these file names so that they could be found in the browser using HTML5.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I
what
mean, not to sound like too like flippant about code, but isn't that a case where you could just have like a transformation of file name, like to file or whatever, like to know how to look stuff up or whatever?
Yeah. In so that was like another issue. Like even though what was the deal? I did this on Windows and I was using like Git Bash or something like that, and I was trying to rename a file from like its upper like the camel case just to all lowercase, and it didn't want to do it. It's like, but that's the same thing. We're not going to rename it. And I'm like, it's clearly not the same thing. Please rename it. And then so you have to like do this forest flag or whatever. It's not that big a deal, but it's
Hmm.
still kind of an odd thing. Um, but I have all these like in the career files, for example, where it says which items you get after a race or which show up in the shop. Like the case was just all over the place. Like really made no sense. And a lot of this is just early programmer Landon, just not knowing what I was doing, and
You
it
make
didn't.
me cry. Although uh, I had that actual issue at a previous job where this is pretty typical in startup land. It's not a bad thing, which is I had a boss who's like, well, I'm not a programmer, but was a really smart math guy. So he's like, I'm not a coder. I'm going to do some coding myself. This was in Python. And then he's like, and then we'll get, real coders and then they'll write real stuff. So there's old code that was written by like the boss,
Hmm.
that is not real code. And then there's like real code on top of it. And then like I struggled because my logic after years and years and years of doing this, as easy it is to argue about code conventions, et cetera, is I argue the file went like convention of the file wins.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty logical. Except when the file has two different conventions and you're like, no,
Right.
what do I do here? So yeah, I mean like
It's when you run
so
out.
as easy as it is to bash being like, oh, Landon, how could you not get like case sensitivity correct? It's like, yeah, um, we're not talking about you making something new as an experienced developer. Now we're talking about something you did. And by the way, I have all the feels in the world. I got this working. So boxscoregeeks.com is up and running again with the wins produced numbers for this year. Um, their
Nice.
channel is a hoot, by the way. And I'll respond to that in a second. But what I was going to say is like, yeah, like old code that you just have to get running again is such a pain. And then it's just so flimsy because it's never, especially when like technologies change, it is never as simple. Okay, by the way, I've got a Yoshi coming up. So see if you can spot the 3 card Monty.
Okay, I want to see this.
He's in the middle. Boom. I'm pretty good. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, so I hear you because and that is the thing is it's like there is this misconception I think in software development where it's like you have some code that is working on a particular tech stack,
Hmm.
and the more you change about the underlying code, the more chance you have of breaking things.
Yeah.
And so whenever you are trying to get old code onto a new tech stack, really you want to move as few levers as possible because small things like, oh, okay, I'll fix like it can be funny, and this is like one of the oldest examples is Space Invaders is like you go, okay, I'll fix this memory leak or whatever, and you don't realize that actually like the memory leak was impacting the timing, and that
No,
was
it was a load
space.
bearing memory leak.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so for those that don't know, Space Invaders was an old arcade game, and the way it worked is you'd have these enemies that would come down in a zigzag pattern, and you would shoot them with a little space like laser guy, and on the bottom. And what would happen though is as you killed more enemies, they would speed up, and the music would go faster. And it was very, get very anxious, and it was awesome. And it's considered an amazing game dynamic. That was actually a bug
Hmm.
because what happened was the computational power to render all of those enemies was so much that as the enemies were reduced, it was able to increase the time because old processors literally worked on like a clock. So it was literally like it was almost like you had clock with weighted hands, and as the clock progressed, the hands got lighter, and so the clock went faster.
Yeah.
So yeah. So oh, nice. That's an impressive thing to have done, by the way.
What's that?
So so there is one, there are a couple upgrades to this game from the original. In the original, which I don't know if you recall, you were limited to it was about 1,000, so 999. You were limited to 999 coins, was all you could
Hmm.
hold, and then various items. So you'll even see on my items when I go to my item inventory, I have certain ones that are colored yellow. That
Hmm.
means I have the most that I am allowed to have in my inventory. What Super Mario RPG on the Switch has upgraded is the amount of coins you're allowed to have has gone up. So you'll see I have 5,731. That is significantly more than you used to be able to have. And that's actually really useful because in the old one, you actually would run into a position where since you were only allowed to have 999 coins, and there are certain things that are very expensive, you would actually have to be strategic about buying things because if you didn't buy them, you're like losing money, but you still
Hmm.
needed to spend the money. So that's no longer a problem. They also added an inventory system where you're able to put um, objects in Mario's house, which you
Hmm.
didn't used to be able to do.
Right.
But that also has a limit. So that's actually kind of cool because what that means is I have gotten so many pure waters. Um, I've even eliminated the overflow that they used to have. So I'm only allowed to hold 10, and I'm guessing that means I'm only allowed to hold 99 at my house. So that's really
Gotcha.
cool.
That is pretty cool. Cool. You can put stuff in your house.
All right. So with that in mind, okay, so radical racers. Some of the issues are around file naming conventions, and not just file naming conventions, programmatic interactions with that. Because what you're saying is, one, you want to do some clever renaming, which would be useful, but then even the operating system itself. I would, by the way, I would really hopefully don't get step on anybody's feet or get anybody mad, but like that is like a chat GPT kind of thing where you just ask that where I think chat GPT when it's kind of used as a stack overflow
Hmm.
for just like, hey, how do I do this really simple rote task that I know 100 developers in front of me have done is kind of useful. Like, how do I
Oh,
rename a bunch of files on Linux is your bud.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm all for using ChatGPT for
Well, and I'm
anything.
asking,
I wish
have you done that with some of your file woes
I
yet, or just haven't gotten to it?
not yet. And like renaming the files, fixing the files isn't gonna be that big a deal. It's just something I need to do, because like I said, so like there's all these issues around how I reference files and names of things like within the data, in addition to like the file names themselves and just kind of how I discover those. Um, and it's not like I said, it's not that big a deal, but I do need to fix it, and then I need to be consistent about it because when doing things on like the HTML5 version, like the if I were to open up Spacebricks right now and go to Radical Racers and hit T to enter the Radical toolbox and go like make a track, I can do that and it will save it somewhere and it will give it some name. And part of the other issue is, and these are just like minor things. These aren't like hurdles. They're just like things I need to do. Um, the Radical Racers font only has uppercase letters. So but the Godot input widgets, like when you're making a track name, you can totally hit Shift and add capital letters and lowercase letters, and it will not be represented on screen because there are only capital letters in the font. But it will still be saved with those uppercase and lowercase letters, which is obviously just a simple call to dot two below. But those are things I need to do. Um, but even then, I don't know exactly where it is saving these files when you do this in the browser. Like it makes more sense for me to like give a link to like Windows or Mac or Linux versions, and really I'm the only one who's going to be doing any of this. So I'll probably disable the toolbox on the
Oh,
web version,
that's fine.
just because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have it there. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'll play with it. So the other issue,
Oh, let's go. What do we got?
the this one is a lot more interesting. So like file naming,
I
whatever.
I'm not being sarcastic when I say it's going to be hard to top the first one. All right, what do we got?
This is actually really interesting. Um, so the way the Godot game engine works, as of right now, at least the version I'm using, because I looked this up to make sure I wasn't going crazy. You will notice if you play Radical Racers X.0 on Space to Bricks and make a save and whatever, and then go play X.1 also on Space to Bricks, that same save file will show up in both versions. And I do not promise that they will be compatible because they were never meant to be interchangeable that way. The reason is because Godot, when you compile for HTML5, it just creates a local storage given like the domain name or just like where the game is hosted, not
Is
based
it
on the project.
are you able to do like in your like can you open developer tools and just see like local storage like because it would have to be there, right?
Yeah, like it's probably in there. But the point is because I'm just having radical racers or anything just like save to user storage slash track slash my cool track name dot txt whatever. That's not separated for Radical Racers X.0 and Radical Racers X.1.
Oh, that's a bummer.
And that's why the save game files, the player save files, show up the same for both games. Because this Godot doesn't create a subdirectory on its own for the project. And this is true not just for like hosting here, but also like if I were to host multiple games on itch.io under like my same domain or space, they would collide. Like it's all the same area, which seems
Huh.
insane to me. Like so the obvious fix
Well,
here is in
don't you have
X.1
to
to
do?
what?
I was going to say, so doesn't that mean that you would need to do some level of intelligence or whatever for how you name files and stuff?
Yeah, like what I would like the simple solution would be for like Radical Racers X.1 to create its own user local storage slash Radical Racers X.1 slash saved games and just me do the naming myself. But that's pretty surprising as a developer that I would have to do that.
Always got to name your files, man.
Got to name my files, but I wouldn't expect them to just show up in other projects' space, local space.
All right.
Would you? I mean, would you have expected that?
I don't know. Let's see.
What about you, chat? Would you have
I
expected that? Like, cause I thought I was going crazy. I was like, I know I copied the project to create X.1, so I thought I still had like a missing project name or like local space name or something like that. But you don't have an option. Like, you don't get to specify where the data is saved.
okay. So it's this
And
way.
I wasn't the only person on the internet who found this surprising.
Yeah, I mean it's. I will say. So you mentioned the Windows thing, right?
Hmm.
Um. Oh no. All right. You mentioned the Windows thing, and you're just like, wow, I'm kind of surprised I can like I'm allowed to do that, like the naming thing, and then whatever, like the case,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that gets all kind of weird. Um, but what I'll throw out is it is amazing the kind of like what you are allowed to like hoist yourself on in various file systems and just how much power they give you, and that's always kind of weird.
Hmm.
By the way, I am looking up. I've done it before, but I'm looking up the image for this 3D maze.
All these little puzzles like what you're going through now, like I thought were really fun in the game. Like this whole game was
Did you?
just
Were,
really fun all the
let
way
me ask
through.
you a question. This is notoriously one of the most like what the heck one that I recall. And I don't think I ever like this is one that I've learned a lot of how to beat stuff,
Hmm.
and this is one that I don't think I ever figured out. So you go all the way down, you go to the right, you jump, you jump.
I I may have gotten lucky. Like I don't remember even doing this specifically,
Let's
and
see. Okay, so
I
you
know I
go.
never had to look anything up. But
Okay. Oh, look at you.
yeah, easy game, easy game.
Okay, so come out, go in there, go up there. Got to be careful up here. Go there, drop down, go left, up, left, right.
Copilot. Yeah, I want to start using LLMs to help me code, at least for personal projects.
I mean, like again, there's a funny. I've had this discussion a few times, um, but like AI is kind of a misnomer, right? I think
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to turn into our graduate teachers
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
where, well, I remember when one of the most top popular topics is chess. Deep Blue defeating Gary Kasparov, and that was kind of a bellwether moment in. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's not super easy, but and the reason this maze is actually kind of difficult, by the way, is it's there are jumps in it. That's what makes it a confusing 3D
Hmm.
maze. That also makes it kind of a cool 3D maze. Anyway, but uh, but yeah, like I remember talking to Dr. Howe, who is now passed, which is bizarre. She is a real big name in artificial intelligence. A real bummer. Was a great
Yeah.
professor at Colorado State University.
She
Someone we
was
were both.
she was my advisor as a grad student. So
That's a
yeah,
good
it was.
advisor.
Yeah, she was amazing. It was.
She was like, artificial intelligence will never catch on. You're like, I hear you. But no, like, I mean, a lot of the AI professors at CSU would just note that, like, hey, a lot of this stuff is not as complicated as it is given credit for. And so I remember, like, it was kind of amusing in that she was saying that chess beating a human got all of the press, and it was kind of false, right? And that it was an easier problem that we gave it credit for. And then I'm kind of conflicted on that because I'll make the argument from an AI perspective that, like, a neuron is a really simple piece of hardware if you think about it.
Hmm. Right.
And then you get a bunch of them together and they do some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So from kind of the same thing with AI. So like the same thing with like the LMMs or LLMs. What is it? What is it
LL
short for again?
large language model.
That is such a stupid name. Anyway, um, sorry, shouldn't get everybody in trouble, but it is. It's a dumb name. But yeah, with those, um, yeah, like what they're doing isn't super complicated. And one of the things that frustrated me in grad school is like, not in a bad way, but like with a lot of AI, a lot of the solution to better problems was just like, oh yeah, this model had more data.
Oh
Like
yeah.
towards the end of grad school for us, like when some of these models were starting to come out, I was like, oh, this new model is just crushing it. And you like read the paper and it's like, okay, so like ours at one point at CSU, it was a big deal that we had one of the most robust, and this is going to be so quaint now. We had one of the most robust training sets for image recognition, and we had like 20,000 images split. I want to say like four or five permutations.
Hmm.
So we were like, we have this 20 gig data set with 100,000 files in it. Isn't that huge? And then like we used to have to like fight over resources at CSU,
Hmm.
like computers wouldn't be able to hold it. And like then as we were leaving, someone was just like, oh yeah, I went to like Google Images and downloaded like a terabyte of data on like this very simple like neural network, and it does amazing. And you're like, hey, I hate to tell you, the secret to your model isn't how great of a model it is. It's like apparently if you get a terabyte of data, you can
Yeah.
train it on stuff. And I actually
Right.
remember my thesis, which I wouldn't be shocked if you actually remember some of it because I know you read it a couple times.
Uses
Um,
on snow.
yep, good memory. So a sparse network of winnows was a bullshit name that the person just labeled. This is reverse acronyming.
Hmm.
And I remember a friend of ours got in trouble, not in trouble, but like during my thesis defense, he asked about that, and I was just like, "Look, man, I didn't name it." He's like, "It's called a sparse network of winnows, but a novel thing I did is I did data visualization to show what it looked like."
Hmm.
Um, and that would have been fun to proceed with, but grad school doesn't pay money, so instead I went into oil and gas.
Does not.
But yeah, like he's like, hey, he's like your network doesn't look very sparse, and I'm like, I do not know what to tell you. I'm like, I can't
That's just
rename
like
the
your
algorithm,
opinion, man.
but I'm also just like, I'm like, I can't rename the algorithm. Like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah.
But I remember my thesis advisor was actually married to your thesis advisor. He was just like annoyed because like the algorithm behind that I use, which is a sparse network of winnows, which is a very, very simplified neural network. It just like worked really well and really was just like, yeah, if you do a really if you put a bunch of data and do a really simple algorithm on it, it does as well as a really complicated data set.
It's totally true. Who was your advisor?
Beverage.
That's what I thought. So when we took a couple of beverages classes together, I think.
We did.
Anyway, there was one where we were presenting papers, and I remember I found a paper and I presented it, and of course he'd like read it before the presentation, but he had mentioned that it was one of his favorite papers of the semester, and the reason is because the paper was um, on this AI model called extremely randomized trees, and it was basically developing uh, or like training decision trees by just throwing a ton of randomization into it. Just very simple, very fast, just a lot of iterations on completely random decision trees. And it worked really, really good because, like you're saying, like it's just having lots of data, lots of processing power, and just the ability to like get through this data is as important as like somebody sitting there and thinking really hard about really smart algorithms, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is funny where that's even true of humans, right? Like sometimes the solution is just lots of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk for a bit because I'm gonna try and.
Sure. While we're talking grad school, I'll mention my thesis, which was on decision trees, and the interesting conclusion that came out of that is that the novel thing I was, if we're using the word novel, the thing I was trying to do with mine is decision trees. For those that don't know, are a AI model for classifying data. You train it on the data you're going to be trying to classify, and you'll typically create a tree structure where every branch is a relatively simple operation, and it'll just kind of do like a high level division of the data more and more iteratively until it gets to one of the leaf nodes where you can then have presumably a little more uniform set of data that you can then run a more complex model on, which will then give you a pretty good fit for that data, ultimately giving you your classification answer or whatever it is you're trying to model. Um, what I was working on was at each of those branches leading up to the leaves, putting more complex models in, oftentimes different than the models that were ultimately used in the leaf nodes. Um, and this took most of the CS department's computing power for most of the time I was trying to work on it.
And
Like,
isn't it quaint like what that would be now? Like
oh,
probably
I know.
spin up like an AWS server for like $10 that would do it all. But
Oh, that's totally true. Because when I say most of the CS department's computing power, that sounds impressive, but it's not. Because these are just the desktop machines we used in the lab, right? We could just remote into them and run stuff. And then somebody
so
would
and I
like not like what you were doing and just reboot the machine because they were sitting at it and be like, "Oh, thanks. I guess I lost
well also
a
what
day's
was
worth of
really
data."
funny is there was a quota on computation power on all of these machines. But there was never a quota on memory. So that would be like the mean thing. You'd see someone else on the same machine, they'd be
Hmm.
like, "Oh yeah, their process isn't that computationally expensive." But it's like eating all of the RAM. Because
Yeah.
that was the big thing. Is like these things had 8 gigs of RAM each. That's so much RAM, man.
Did they have that much back then?
I think they did.
That is a lot. That's a ton. But yeah, no, you're right about that because like one thing we got good at was writing these scripts that would kick off all of our processes, and we got used to the nice command. For those who don't know, nice in Unix is a command that will set the priority of your process. So we would kick them off. We know they can be running for like a week, and so we'd set it at a nice value that would put it to a low priority, so that people actually sitting at the computer trying to like do their today's work would get priority on the computer without it actually stopping our long running processes. Um, anyway, ran a lot of data with a lot of big data sets. Some data sets I just had to give up on because I didn't have enough grad school left to complete processing them. Um, and the conclusion of this whole thing was of all this processing of all these different algorithms is it depends entirely on the data. like like nothing I did was like a sure like, oh yeah, this is the right model, this is the right thing to do. Like some worked really well on some data but not others, and there was no like silver bullet.
But I mean, to a degree, there shouldn't be, which kind of makes sense. Although now I'm actually interested. This would be fun because I've talked about this Wordle solver I built.
Hmm.
And it would be actually, I mean, it really is a decision tree, right? Where like at each level, you're branching stuff off. And I just did a very simple one where I just like try to do what I consider the best strategy. And I haven't revisited it, but it'd be fun to like go back to like what you should do.
Hmm.
I don't know. So one thing I've read apparently is that the even using like a wireless controller and just a monitor with a low enough lag makes this like not possible to do, which is like trying to do a really big super jump. Because one of the hardest challenges in this game is doing 100 jumps in a row, which you can do.
Wow.
And at some point, I would like to do it. And I was thinking of maybe giving it a try tonight, but don't think it's going to happen. So
that
I
would
am
that,
just
that would be
progressing in this
impressive.
story. Yeah.
How far have you how many have you done?
I've done over 30. At 30, you get the attack scarf, and then at 100, you get the super suit.
Nice.
So yeah, what else? Let's see. I can probably go for like another 15, 20. Yeah, do we? Yeah, it's I don't know if you're down. I want to hear. And I haven't been watching yours, although I see you are actually doing stuff on yours. So are you racing? What engine is that? These are cool. Did you up the graphics? The graphics are better than they used to be.
This is just X.1, so the graphics are the same as they have been. It's not coming
But like,
across.
but of like the motors and stuff, like
Yeah,
the
no,
engines and things.
I added all those. I've got a graphic for every engine, every tire, every suspension. I did make sure to have that ready for whatever the last time we did this was.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, like 3 years ago. Yeah, it's I'm I don't like the tire graphics. I just kind of whip those up. Um, I would like to fix those at some point. I'm pretty happy with how the engines turned out. They're kind of goofy, some of them. Like this, what even is this supposed to be? I don't know. This is one I drew like
That
back
looks
in
like an engine.
2001 though. Like I
what you should have done, by the way, is you should have gone to our buddy Cliff and in grad. Well, actually, I think it was undergrad, but for computer graphics, he made like a 3D rendering of an engine like moving. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, he did.
You should get him to build one of those for each engine.
Yeah, 3D, like the only 3D thing in the game is like this complex 3D model of
No,
the engine.
every single one needs it. Okay, by the way, apologies. I got to do this. I forgot to respond to chat. We got a lot of good stuff in chat. So
Okay.
we got the spam. Zortank's popped in. Zortank's nice to see you. Asked why is there spam in the channel? You said shruggle. I don't even think that's a word,
I said
Landon. But
shruggy,
whatever.
as in
Looks like
the
struggle. Well,
emoticon that's
in the space to
shrugging
bricks in the space to bricks font, there's no lowercase, so I just assumed it was the lowercase l or whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
to space. Okay.
I don't know. You were talking about like your font for
Yeah,
Radical
yeah,
Racers.
yeah.
Yeah, and then like
Okay,
uppercase lower.
okay.
It tracks.
Yeah, it does. That's good.
It kind of worked, but I fail. Like so. By the way, random tangent number one. Have you watched any of like the Please Don't Destroy? They're kind of the new Lonely Island for SNL. They have like shorts for SNL. The most recent one was like
I
Ramen Fever.
no, I haven't.
Yeah, they're good stuff. But yeah,
I'm gonna
he
check
goes
it
like,
out.
he's like, I got a ramen, and the only fever is more prescription. He's like, you almost got it. Anyway, so that being said, so Mitty responded, that's an amazing offer. Zortank's made a joke. So box core geeks, good job. That's my gimmick, by the way, Zortank's, but intentionally misunderstanding. So box score geeks is spelled Boxscore, and then geeks. But yeah, you could do whatever you want. Of course, there is Copilot, Ren, Star, Space to Bricks. What does that do? I don't know what that would
I don't
do.
know what that means.
What command is that doing?
I don't know what the
And
Ren
then,
thing is.
yeah, the oil and gas. Yeah, oil and gas pays the bills. They offer money to people. And there is a player, a chess player that just had an amazing performance named Vidit Goose Rossi, I think, and he works in oil and gas. Like that's his first sponsor, which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
As he just won the Grand Swiss, which is an amazing tournament, and he did it by like winning 8 out of 10 games after losing the first game, which is really good.
Nice.
You should try and do that sometime,
Win a game.
but you
Me,
won't. A
please.
chess game.
Score over 39,000 points in chess.
Is that a real chess player?
No.
Sergey. Who's that? Oh, that's a nice one. Box corgis. Yes, I love it. I have an Australian cattle dog, and they kind of look like corgis.
Texaco Chevron.
Uh, I mean,
that's a
actually,
that's a pretty good name.
that is an issue. Actually, and I just heard like Hikaru Nakamura talking about it. Like in in India, there's a lot of like money, corporate and government in chess players, and so like India is going to be the chess powerhouse for like the next 50 years.
Really?
Like two siblings, Pragnanan and I forget his sister's name, but they both qualified for the candidates tournament. And they're super young. It's
Hmm.
the first time two siblings have qualified for the candidates, male female. I think there have been two female sisters, like the Polgar sisters, at one point. Vidit, like I mentioned, just also qualified. So it's the first time there have been two Indian players. There's a wild thing, which is Vishyanand was the first Grand Master in India, and then also went on to be um, World Chess Champ, which is like kind of cool to think about it. It's like you are literally like it's like being the first pro athlete of a thing in your country, and then like winning gold at it, which is really cool.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then but like he brought about like the future where like everybody's like we want to be Vishy, and then another thing is he has a funny story, which is he said when he was younger, he was riding a train someplace once, and he was like somebody on the train was talking. He was like, "What do you do for a living?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a chess player." And the guy's like, "Well, professionally, for real, like, what do you do? Like, you can't play chess for a living. And he was like, yeah, I do play chess for a living. And the guy was like, pardon me, I'm going to give you some candid advice. He's like, if you were Vishianand, maybe you could make a career out of being a chess player. But he's like, but outside of that, you're probably not going to have any chance of making a career. And he's like, I am Vishianand, so
That's awesome.
but that's like a cool story. But it's also like the class, like that is the other thing about like chess players is like, you know, not getting recognized.
Hmm.
World Lord Happiness. That's a pretty cool name. He's pretty good.
Nice.
And I kind of look like him. He looks like a younger me, which really ticks me off because he is older than me. But yeah,
World Lord.
yeah. Well, I mean, chess wise, it counts. And there's like a really like if you were showing like a browser, I would tell you to look up this meme or just like a GIF. It's him playing Gary Kasparov in a World Blitz tournament, I think, and like Kasparov blunders, and he just makes this really funny looking like facial expression. It's just like famous now.
Nice.
Like he clearly messes up. All right, but let's talk
Lord of
Radical Racers
Happiness.
because we are
That's pretty cool, Zertanks. Thanks.
yeah. When I meet him, I'll tell him that, and he'll be all impressed, and then we'll be best friends.
That's Let us know
Although
when that happens.
actually, we should do that at some point. So first off, you need to come to see the World Bowling Championship, which takes place out here in Wisconsin, because I've gone like 2 years in a row.
It should go. When is that?
Um, like March or April, I think.
Hmm.
Don't know. I don't
Okay.
remember. Let's see.
I'm waiting to see you walk back outside this door because I feel like I saw something when you opened the door.
Wait, what?
It was only out of the corner of my eye, so I could be wrong. But I'm interested in the door now.
Why are you interested in the door? What are you talking about?
Hang on, open up that door. Go in that house again with the
Okay,
blue roof.
I'm in the house. What about it?
Hang on, I'm behind. Yeah. Oh. Did you? Oh, keep going in and out of the house. Look at that. Look at that door. Tell me if you see something wrong,
What?
dude. Look. Is the door handle not on the left side of that door? The same side the hinges are on?
It's on both. There's a handle on both sides of the door.
What kind of sense does that make? Why would you have a
It's just
handle
it's
where the
just decorative.
why would you have a handle, or is that even what I'm looking at?
You're right. Like there's a handle. See, look, there's a handle here and a handle there.
Yeah, see what the
But see, it's just the
just
style of the door.
unplayable. Just
Okay, so here's what's going on. Wait a sec. Okay, here's the problem. You can see it on the middle door, and we'll see if I can show you in the other one. So here's the deal. These are saloon doors, my man. See? They
are
both
they?
open. They're saloon doors. The style of
Oh,
the
that
doors in
makes
this
that makes
town.
even less sense. The handle should
What?
be in the middle if that's the case, not near the hinges.
Why? Wait, you're dang it. He's right. It's not the doorbell. How is it the doorbell?
Now
No.
it's got two doorbells on the door itself.
Zortanks, be serious. This is a
Come on,
serious channel
come
here.
on.
I do have glasses, by the way. One side goes ding, the other side goes dong. Makes sense.
Anyway, Radical Racers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm very
let's
excited to
wrap
bring.
that.
Very
I was
excited.
gonna say, are you
Yeah.
gonna figure out a Final Fantasy X for next stream? That would be cool in my opinion. That's what I'll throw out.
We'll talk about it maybe. Um, that's another like big investment that I'm not sure is the kind of thing I want to stream. But
Oh Come on, you
Maybe.
got it. It's fun. It's a good game. It's not like if you don't do all the side crap, it's a quicker game. I think it's like 10 hours if you just like play
That's
it straight.
really that's really fast. I'm really slow at playing games, especially RPGs. Like I will just like mess around and just never.
Okay. Okay, so I messed this up. It's 40 to 60 hours with 10 hours of cutscenes. What's 10 hours of cuts?
Wow, that's a lot of
I don't know.
cutscenes.
I think you should still give it a try, and then if we get bored, we can do something else. It's a fun game.
Might do that.
Even if you just like start streaming it and we get some enjoyment there, and then you just like finish it on your own.
Sure. Yeah, I might be willing to do
Do.
that. All
All
right.
right, but so Radical Racers,
Radical
you
Racers.
made you
I made four new cars, which I'm very excited about. I've not made a new car in 20 years, and I'm not even making that number up. Like it's actually been 20 years since I made a new car. And so I have four new cars. I don't know how well they. Let me see if I can make this a little bit off to like. Whoops. Um, I'm pretty proud of these cars, just just
okay?
because.
What do we got?
Make it a little bit bigger. First, we have the obvious one, the Vertex R, and this is another one where it's a little unfortunate that the Radical
The verdict,
Racers
sir.
is as far as a little unfortunate that the Radical Racers font only has capital letters because this is supposed to be the
Vertexer.
Vertex R, kind of like the Cobra R or the Golf R. Um, anyway, it's
What is the R short for in those cars?
race typically. Um, it's the race version. So this one, as you'll notice, it is 2 pixels wider than the normal Vertex 2 because it has a wide body kit on it. Um, it has some hood vents. It's got some other little lines on the rear window. Very cool. The spoiler's yellow instead of red. I've got this little red line on one of the racing stripes, which makes it look a little bit like a CRT glitch, but I think it looks cool. Anyway, pretty happy with this car. Also, um,
Oh, you should make a car called like the Glitch R, then like has like a CRT glitch in it.
that's not a bad idea.
Are you mad that I came up with like a half decent idea for your game?
A little bit.
Because I'm like, I should only
But
come up with bad
the
ideas. I know.
car editor, you can make your own cars if you want. Anyway, so it takes engines R and X, which looks like Rix. How cool is that? That's also like the brand of this car because you can never see that again. Anyway, then I made the Zisa, which I was thinking about it like I didn't even realize it much until my brother made the XRJ 860, which is a mid-engine car, but I had made almost zero mid-engine cars for my racing game, which is kind of funny. So I made this car.
What class is that? Would your mid-engine cars? Would mid-engine?
Sorry, what do you mean?
You said you'd made almost zero mid-engine, so I'm curious what like class would that be, or what does mid-engine mean?
So mid-engine means that the engine is positioned between the uh, the axles in a car. It's behind the front and in front of the rear. Typically, a mid-engine cars has the engine behind the driver. Um, the except so it is important that the engine is between the axles, between where the wheels are, because for example, like the Porsche 911 has the engine in the back. It's behind the driver, but it's not a mid-engine car. It is a rear-engine car because the engine is actually positioned over over the drive or over the axle um, instead of in front of it. So makes the rear weight bias really far back. Um, in most cars where the engine is behind you, that is not the case. But they did that with the Porsche 911. Something like the VW Beetle would be the same way. There are other cars that people don't typically consider mid-engine, but are cars like the Dodge Viper. and the Honda S2000 have the engine in front, but it's actually pushed far enough back. It is behind the front axle, so it is still considered mid-engine, even though the driver is positioned behind the engine. But you
Huh.
can see in this car, it looks a little bit like. Anyway, it's supposed to look like the engine is behind the
That
driver.
looks like a Batmobile, which is cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
a
little hard to tell
Batmobile,
with
man.
like just the black background. Let me bring it onto the track here so you can see a little bit better. Oh, except now it's super tiny and off screen, so you can't see it better. I lied. Um, anyway. Anyway, so I made this
And
car.
Zortanks asked about playing Rocket League, which is a game I've heard of but never played.
It's a
It's
fun
like a
game.
young person's game, isn't it? Have you ever played it? Is it a fun game?
Oh, I play it all the time. It is a super fun game, and it's online, which is basically all online games are young person games because as a 42-year-old man, I just can't compete anymore.
I
Like with
could never compete.
any of these online games. It is fun, Zortanks. You know it is. Um,
Why
all
isn't it
right.
why isn't it fun? Maybe we should stream it sometime.
Oh, we could totally stream Rocket League.
Oh, cool. We got that on deck too. Yeah, sure. So I was gonna maybe say something flippant to Zortanks about that. I guess maybe we'll stream it. Maybe that'll be a game night game. I'm kind of glad that game night's back. Like this was like a thing I used to look forward to, and I was kind of bummed. Where I was basically like, hey, I don't know if my schedule supports this.
Yeah, like I
Which
was
made me.
totally fine taking a break, but I was
Oh, so
definitely
you've been playing video games with other people? Is that what you're saying? It's like a friends thing. You're on a break.
but yeah, but no, I was definitely expecting and hoping that we would come back to this and continue it because it is a lot of fun. It is something I look forward to. Anyway, so now from Crone Automotive, I just threw the automotive on there. I don't know what they really go by. It's all in universe. We have two new cars. This kind of muscle car looking thing. This is the Mercy and the race version of it, the Grace. Mercy and Grace. I don't know. I made these last night. I was in some kind of mood. I don't know what I was thinking. But
Is that you, Zortanks, by the way? Rage quit FC, or is that just someone that hates Rocket League?
I don't know what he's doing. But
Anyway,
this car I like a lot.
these cars look pretty nice. They're like nice
I
design.
I appreciate that. Cause I like I said, I haven't made a car in a long time and spent a bunch of time last night making these and had a lot of fun doing it. And I don't know, it's just kind of satisfying making Radical Racers cars again. So I might make some more, but these are what I have right now. This one I really do like. They all take different engines. Let me fix my screen here.
Wait, so what's going on there? Where it looked like the body changed or whatever?
Those are two different cars, if that's what you're asking about.
Oh, okay. Dude.
Yeah, because I cheated a little bit and made the 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 Mercy and then made like the race version of it, which has again a little more of like a wide body look. It's got a spoiler and like kind of bigger hood vents and racing stripes. And called it a different car. I'd done that a little bit back in the day too, where I have things like the Caldera and the Caldera GT. And did I do that with any others? I don't remember now. I know I've got like I also have like the 200KX, which is the car you start with, and the 200RX, which is kind of based on that.
I can't see any of this at the moment. It's like the
I'm
screen's off.
I'm not even showing it. I'm just talking.
It's fine.
Um,
I didn't want to see your cars anyway. It's just,
well, fine,
your
whatever.
mind's eye is the most imaginative thing, right? Or something. I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, here's my new favorite car.
So what's
And
FC and Rage? Holy cow! What the?
but
How easy is it to do donuts?
in this car, super easy.
We're going. We don't need roads. So Rage quit football club. I mean,
I think that's what it means.
isn't that called relegation?
We do need a new
That
name.
is that a good name?
We have a Rocket
Wait,
League team. So when I say I've
what's
played
your
Rocket League before, I mean I have like 1,000 hours in it. Oh, something else I added. Let me see if I can show it. I don't know if this will do it or
Alt
not.
F4? I'd forgotten about that.
You'd forgotten about Alt F4?
I've been on Mac forever, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why?
That's my persona now. I'm super
You
Windows
hate
guy.
you hate like expensive Command
I,
F4. Probably, I don't know.
Max, I just bought a new laptop and I'm running
Wait,
Linux only.
really? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Oh
How
yeah.
did you not lead with this?
I know, right? Yeah, I
Talking about
finally
like grad school crap instead of
I
your
re
new laptop?
I replaced my 13-year-old laptop with
Now don't make me cry. Did you actually replace it or is this like you're like, I got a trash 80
no, I actually got a really good laptop. I'm pretty happy with it.
Mac or
Nope.
Windows?
Nope.
All right, fair enough. Linux?
Yep. I
All right, that's fine. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I bought a Framework laptop. It's a
What
Framework
is that? What is
13.
what does that mean?
So Framework is this company. They're relatively new, I guess. And their whole deal is making upgradable laptops, and it has like modular ports on it.
You need that for sure. So I hope they're telling the truth.
Well, so like nothing is soldered in. Like I bought it as a DIY version, which all that means is that it doesn't come with RAM or an SSD.
Does it stands for does it? Yes, if I recall.
Does it? Yes, that's what it means. Yeah.
No, DIY does it? Yes.
Um. Anyway, on screen right now is what I meant to show you. I added the lap
That you
times
got
when you
that you got
finish.
that you got fifth place because you lose.
Well,
Yep, I
just
believe that.
ignore that part. All right. But like, see a new best lap. See it says new best.
That
That's
is
pretty
really
cool.
cool. The
And
the
it and
lab
it
stuff was stuff.
and it does save that to the game. Um, I don't know what if that's
How is I mean it's interesting because you basically it is funny to kind of get behind the curtain where you're kind of talking that you basically have like faux local storage, which is really wild about modern like browser games, right? Is that
hmm
you're allowed to just like store stuff on the machine, and I know that for like me, like basically stuff will stay there, right, until you like clear your browsing cache or whatever.
hmm
So that's kind of interesting that it does that. But like, is there any way easy for you to do like an API store them in a server someplace for you? Like, could you have like a high score list or something or store?
I I think so. I haven't looked into it, but I don't. I'm sure you can. Yeah.
All right, this is called the Healing Rainbow. It's kind of cool. I haven't seen this one before. So I don't usually use Peach and Mallow because they're both mages. You would normally do a double mage.
Double mage.
That was underwhelming. I just healed my entire team that didn't need to be healed. But it looked pretty, so that's
That did
kind of
look
cool.
pretty cool.
But it like the sky got all dark and it looked all cool, and then you're like, and you are healed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Whatever.
But anyway, yeah. So I got this laptop, and every part of it is replaceable, and like you open it up and they have QR codes on everything so you can find the part. Um,
That's useful.
but it's cool. Like I like what the company is doing. Like there are probably better laptops out there. There are definitely cheaper laptops out there, but
They're definitely worse laptops, like your last one for sure.
there are definitely. Hey, that my old laptop. the OG like HP NV14, that was a good laptop. Like 6 or 7 years ago, I replaced the battery and swapped it out for an SSD. Not the battery, I swapped the hard drive out for an SSD. And it worked well for a really long time. But but yeah, so this new one, I figured I'm gonna try running just Linux. I've always dual booted with Windows, but I'm gonna see if I can live without Windows. See how that goes.
Well, it's interesting, like for streaming and stuff, I actually kind of regret that in that I have, like I have a Windows machine that I guess my old one I could do this. It's like I would be interested in maybe trying to like use it because it is a superior streaming platform. Like Windows is better for streaming and OBS and all that.
Hmm.
But my issue is my capture device that I'm using on my Switch doesn't work with Windows. Like the driver, it's outdated, which is a bummer.
Hmm.
Um, so I would either need to update that or update some other stuff, which actually isn't that hard. But you know,
Yeah, I know.
I regret this. All right, I'm gonna go down this mountain, which I've already done. I still don't know how to do the Midas River course great, and then I think I'll call it a night because yeah, we've gone for about 2 hours, which is about
Okay.
time.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, but let's yeah, apologies. We definitely did not give Radical Racers its due. So new cars, graphics for everything. Unfortunately, because of the it's funny to just be like young land and not worrying about file naming conventions makes this harder to do, which I hear you. But like can't even be mad, right? It's not like,
Yeah,
oh my
and
goodness.
when I first started recreating Radical Racers in Godot, I wanted to use the original files as they were. I probably should
Why?
have just gone through the. I don't know. I don't even know why. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to just like cut and paste the whole data directory into the new path and have it all work. But that was kind of dumb. I should have just fixed all the files then.
Now it's too late. You'll
Now it's too
never,
late. Well,
never
no, now
fix it.
it's not too late because, well, and that's where some of this issue comes up, right? Because Radical Racers X.1 isn't intended to be backwards compatible with X.0, which is the only reason I run into problems that the saved games are in the same place on my website because they're not
This-
compatible, and so I need to fix that.
Okay, you should bug Zor. Well, it depends on the type or whatever Zortanks would be. Um, I'd be interested potentially in like an upgrade of a capture, but then that's also if I want to upgrade the rig. But if we're going to be doing this more often, maybe depends on what I want to do. Because really, I'm just using the Switch. Um, and that's the only. And then when we were doing like Mega Man's, for instance, those were all available on Steam. So I was able to
Right.
just
Yeah.
do it off of. I was able to just do it off of there without needing a capture device. One thing I was curious about there, I'll bug you more offline, but there was an idea I'd been floating with Jeff, and I don't know if he just doesn't have the time. But remember when we got those like X-Men packs of cards?
Hmm.
I think there's a game in there that I want to play.
Oh
And I need
yeah.
to see if there's a way for you to get more packs of trading cards.
Okay.
Does that store have any more?
I'm sure they do. I haven't been back for a while, but I can go check.
Or you didn't buy your laptop by there?
No, no.
'Cause that was the spot of where you bought your new phone and then like even used the carrying case for your like the box for your new phone. You sent some cards. Then I got like a Magneto hologram, which is pretty rad. I thought it was rad.
Did I send the box for that? I don't remember doing that.
Well, the box you used to send the packs of cards in included was the one that you bought your phone in.
Was the
Like,
oh really? I forgot I did
yeah,
that.
yeah, you can find on eBay.
Nice. But Yeah, can go back to that store and see what they have. They had a ton, so I'm sure they still have some.
Let me ask you this on Radical Racers X1.
Hmm.
Have you beaten it? Like, can you beat it?
Yeah, you can beat it.
That's not what I asked. I said, can you beat it? Have
I
you beaten it?
I can beat it. I've
I,
beaten it.
I, I believe you. You're like, someone could beat it, maybe.
Somebody probably could.
So
I
what's
think
your like
I
what
think I've beaten it. I
what do you mean you think? How do you think?
don't
How do you not
know.
know?
I don't. I think I did. I seem to remember doing it. Look, I don't remember things. Okay, the things just if I don't write it down, I don't remember.
Okay. All right.
Actually, let's find out. Man, I got a game here at race 68 with only $8,000. Probably means I got here legit. My name is Landon.
Problem.
But yeah, I might tweak some of this a little more. I do want to
How
make a
long does it
new.
take? Because I was gonna say that's another thing too, right? Is you can just beat the game on stream. Like I did that once.
You've done it.
That was the COVID dream.
You've beaten this game way more times than I have. I think
I've beaten X0 more than I have not beaten X1.
you haven't beaten X1. Yeah, I could go through that
Just
again.
it's I don't know. X0 just it's I kind of like because you well it's exactly what I was talking about. Like you fixed some of the bugs by making it better. So like one of the strategies I got really good at on X0 was like grinding the opponents into the wall or like how I would drift and you fix those. So like it's honestly a
E
harder game.
yeah, and to be honest, I might change some of that to be a little more like X.0. Um, there's a couple of things I still want to change gameplay wise, like with X.1, just to make it a little easier. For one thing, I, you take all this damage when running into other cars. I think I'm gonna take that away entirely. Partly because of the way the physics are done, like the collision resolution is done before it's like displayed to the player in such a way that you're hitting the other car even when it looks like you're not. And so like you're taking damage even when it looks like you're a few pixels away, which is kind of dumb. So I might make it so you just don't take damage when you're running into other cars, because that's where like a lot of the damage comes from, and I don't think that's
Hmm.
necessary. But like I'll fix that. I might change it so you can kind of drive into the other cars like the original version, just because that feels a little more like Radical Racers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you see the birds? Did I show you the birds last time?
So I saw the clouds. What about show me these birds?
So they're really rare. So,
How rare? How long am I
well,
gonna wait? You're like sit here for
did,
3 hours.
oh wait, no, I see them. I see them. I'm gonna drive backwards to go find them. They might be gone by the time I get there. Oh, here they are. Check out the birds.
I see load game. Oh
No,
wait, I'm in the past.
the birds are
So I'm gonna see if I can catch them before you go backwards.
birds are so awesome.
Wait, what?
Does everyone like the birds? I'm very proud of them.
How were you able to tell the birds were there? Because you
I
started the race over and then went backwards. How did you know they were there?
I'm an expert bird watcher.
You're
That's
a bird watcher.
how.
Are you gonna do like badges and stuff, right? Like
No, because you
expert
can.
bird.
So like a flock of birds will spawn every time, but it will be anywhere that a cloud can spawn, and they will be going any direction, and it can be any number of birds between like 1 and 10 or something like that. And so you may not see them, but you can kind of see them like when you're still zoomed out if you look really fast, and depending on where they are. So yeah, they're rare. You might not see them, but it's cool when you do.
And yeah, I will keep you posted, Zortanks, depending on what we do, if that's needed or what Lan and I decide to do for streaming. Maybe we'll turn into uh robot Rocket League, robot rocket, rocket robot. We can
Rocket
call
robots,
ourselves
yeah.
like the Rixters,
The-
the Rixter R's.
there we go.
That's race.
That's right. I like it.
I don't know. I
So,
kind of want to see. I kind of want to see you beat your game on stream though now, actually, because I don't know if I want to put the effort in because I'm a purist, right? I'm an X0.
what I can either go through this, which is the same career you went through in the previous version, or what
But
I'm
aren't they new
currently.
races or
Well, yeah. So there are and there aren't. So what I'm working on right now is this um, career I'm calling Greek, because back in the day I made a track, and track names are hard, especially when you're making hundreds of tracks. So I had one named
one,
after
two,
every.
three, four,
Well, I had them
five?
named after the Greek letters, right? So I got alpha,
Yeah.
beta, gamma, delta,
So you're
epsilon,
doing
zeta.
exactly what I just said. So yeah, we are on the same page.
But I've already done it, right? And so these I made all these tracks back in the day. Like, these are not new tracks, but I've never, most of them are not in the main game. So I was gonna make a career where you get to play them all, because as you can see, a lot of these tracks are really large. And so I was gonna make um, a series where you race through each of the Greek tracks for one lap each, which sounds fast because like alpha's pretty small, beta's not too big. Some of these are not, then they get bigger. Some of them are big, and then you get to omega, which is much bigger than what can be displayed here. It is the largest track you can make. It uses the entire
Yeah, it takes forever,
bounds.
right?
It I've driven one lap around this track in my entire life, and I seem to remember it taking over 40 minutes
Why would you make that?
because I was seeing if I could. So,
That is the most justifiable computer science answer I've ever heard.
so if I
Like,
go
give it a
here,
try.
I can show the track. Like, I've got it here. It's like, first of all, here I can just cheat my way to the end. Whoops.
Aha, cheat code there. Actually, on my
Whoops.
first try, I
I lost
went
my way.
through and beat the Sky Bridge, which is kind of cool.
Um,
If you watch there, there's a slight cheat code though.
get this back. Greek. This may not even work anymore. Just gonna buy all this stuff along the way. Ooh, it's. Alright, I've got something I gotta fix. Something's not happy.
What'd you do?
Um, I may have changed some things since last time I made this career, and now it's missing something. So I'll have to fix it. But anyway, that will probably take me 2 hours to get through.
Why? Wait, so you made it 3 laps? You didn't
No,
want
they're
to
all
just do
one. They're
one?
all no. The whole career,
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
right? Because like
Two times.
half of it will be going around Omega.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that next time.
Maybe do that next time. I'll
Yeah,
work on it and try to get it balanced out and get the items and prizes and stuff in there.
I like it. Sold.
That'd be
I
fun.
agree. Yeah, so
'Cause
your homework is that, and then maybe check out the haunted card store to see if they have any more haunted cards.
haunted cards now.
I hope they were haunted. I mean,
Where
if
does
they
haunted
weren't,
come
like,
from?
I don't know. Like I just assumed.
It's hmm,
You don't know what to tell you, man.
interesting assumption.
All right. I'm
So
just gonna
here's the
try and
track
get to
I can.
Monster Town and save, and then this is Row. I remember Row.
Why is this not?
I think I remember Row.
Can I not find it?
Okay, I'm gonna call that good.
I'm not sure this is loading
Oh,
at all.
holy cow! What is this?
What?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the track.
Oh, just playing around with the track editor.
Oh,
See, this is why it's easy to make like super long tracks because it's way faster to make them than it is to drive around them.
all right. I am going to kill my stream, but I should still be audible on yours.
Okay.
But all right, we're back. We're back in business. We got plans. We got
Back in
ideas.
business. So, so what works best for you? Um, are we gonna be able
Mondays
to
and
do it Mondays again,
Mondays
or
and Tuesdays in general are the best days of the week for me. I'm going to try and do a Box Score Geeks recording, not Box Core. Yes, Box Corgi, I will count. Next week, and I'll try and work with Brian to see which day works best.
okay? At the moment, I can be pretty flexible. I think I don't really have any other.
But what about super future though? Should we like future proof this preemptively?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I guess if we pick a day,
But with that
I can
Zora
work
thinks
around
that's
it.
more than fine because my Wednesdays are Wednesday nights are now swimming and pizza night for me. So
Nice. That sounds pretty good.
yeah, it's a good night. Yeah. What's your trivia team's name?
I don't know. I didn't know we were doing trivia.
Well, apparently there's trivia right near you on Wednesdays.
There's trivia every day of the week, I think. There's a lot of trivia here,
You know, if
but
they
I would
just do it
be
all the time,
totally.
if they don't make it special, it really trivializes it.
Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. This is.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I would be down for doing trivia on Wednesdays. Haven't done trivia for a long time. Cool, yeah. Like, let me know what works. I can be pretty flexible, and it would be awesome if we can get back to doing this weekly.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's something I look forward to. I mean, obviously, come Christmas time when we're traveling and stuff,
Yeah,
likely will not work. But yeah, for the next couple of weeks, it should be all right for me.
cool. Sounds good.
All right, all right. I will talk to you next time, though. Then, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for the Box Core Geeks renames. I enjoyed those.
Yeah, it's nice to see people doing that with something that isn't space to bricks. Um,
Well, I mean,
so
you
now
know,
you know
every
what it's
good
like.
one has been done with space to bricks, is what I will argue.
That
Like,
could be true. But
you can't top Spa Devin Ricks.
wow.
That was a good one.
Now they've all been done. Now all
No,
three.
I did that. That was in the past. I called you. I was so proud of that one. Like that required a physical call with how good that one was. All right.
that's
Anyway,
right. All right.
yeah, I should get to doing other stuff. All right. You have a good
Cool.
night, sir.
Thanks everybody, and we will see you hopefully next week.
Yep. Sounds good.